the best and worst road agents for the WWF, WWE.
The best and the worst road agents?
Yeah.
Well, to me, I can go with the worst first. And the reason is because it was when I was a talent. And everything in wrestling, so as far as you want to hear from me, is everything in wrestling to me is an opinion. Everything from a fan's point, from talent's point, from anybody that doesn't even watch wrestling, they have an opinion about it, and it's because of their experience and whatever. But when I got to WWF and did Skinner, I had road agents then, and that was really the first time I'd ever really dealt with road agents. And I had Rene Goulet, he was a great guy. I had Jack Lanza, which is a great guy. I had who else? A couple other guys, but the worst to me was Chief J Strongbow. And the reason is he had a real chip on his shoulder and an attitude. And he had this thing about putting himself on a pedestal, that he was kind of like a great worker at one time and all these different things. And then plus an Indian, which he was an Italian, and I'd already seen him as Joe Scarpa in Florida. So I wasn't really impressed with the Indian thing and the dancing and the chop and all of that. And then that silly tomahawk chop on top of your head that wouldn't break an egg. And I just didn't have a whole lot of respect. And then he would tell me things like, when I come back from my match, everything that I did, he had to report. And when I come back from my match, he'd look at me, and it was almost like he was trying to pull something out of there, just searching, or nitpicking is maybe more the thing. And he'd put his arms behind his back, and he'd rock back and forth, and he'd look at me and say, well, Skinner, I think you got 37 seconds too much heat out there. And I'm looking at him going, 37 seconds? Why don't you just pull that one out of your butt? And I knew that he was reporting to the office, and, he was looking for things to have to say. And then all I could think about is him reporting on me, places where Vince wasn't, or, Pat Patterson, Booker at the time wasn't, and saying, well, Skinner got too much heat, or Skinner did this, or Skinner did that, or whatever. And so I didn't really get along with him too well. Now, to me, one of the best agents was pretty much Fit Finley. And the reason Fit was a good agent is because Fit was a serious worker. And I mean, I'd met Fit working for either Brian Dixon or Conway over there in Europe, and I'd worked against him, or maybe it was when I worked for Otto and I worked against Fit there. I'm not even positive where I first met Fit, but I worked against him. And he was so easy in the ring, but really believable. And he laid stuff in. I mean, you felt him when you worked with him, which was what I like. But at the same time, he had a way of talking to people that he was working with and talent, and getting his point across and still having the respect. And, they liked him. And that's part of working with talent. Talent has to like you if they're working with you, to give you any credibility, because if they don't like you, they might go out of their way to not do things right, so it looks like you. Whenever I had a match as an agent working for Vince, if the match went out there and they did something wrong in the ring, do you think Vince yelled at them? Vince would cuss me like a dog. I mean, he would talk to me like nobody had ever talked to me, and up and down. And I'm wanting to say, and I knew better not to, but I want to say, hey, I wasn't even out there. Because they're making mistakes and because they did something wrong, I'm not in control of that. And then finally, I just listened to everything he'd have to say, and I figured it out early as an agent, and I just say, you know what? It's all my fault. I'm going to do everything I can to never let that happen again. And he'd walk away. But other than that, he'd be on you. And so if the talent didn't like you, they knew they could get you in trouble, and it'd be a matter of a time. And so many, getting in troubles when you'd be a different agent someplace else.